We finally made it to championship weekend. We have a number of fantastic matchups that all have massive playoff implications. I'm going to be previewing each game and who I think wins and makes it to the college football playoff. We're going to start with the ACC title game as there's a pretty big storyline surrounding it. As you saw from the title of my video, Florida State could be in some pretty big trouble. Although there is nothing confirmed at the time of recording this video, there are rumors circulating that starting quarterback Tate Rodemaker might miss the game. This was the tweet from last night saying that rumors are swirling that Florida State quarterback Tate Rodemaker may be out versus Louisville in the ACC Championship. Could very well be a concussion from the late night targeting against Florida last weekend. The line for Louisville versus Florida State has recently dropped a point in favor of Louisville. So as the tweet says, and what a lot of other people are saying, is it's a possible concussion. He took a pretty big hit late in last week's game against Florida. He came right back in shortly after, and I'm guessing he somehow managed to pass the concussion protocol, which just seems crazy considering the hit. The line has also dropped a couple of points this week as well. Either everyone and their mother is taking Louisville this weekend, or the sportsbooks are acting out of caution. Rodemaker finished the game with no problem. He was also seen practicing this week. Again, as of right now, there's no official reports, just all of these rumors saying he might miss the game with a concussion. He very well could play, or Florida State is doing the smart thing and not listing this, so Louisville keeps preparing for him. Should Rodemaker miss, Florida State is likely going to turn to third-string quarterback Brock Glenn. The freshman was a 4-star prospect ranked as the number 13 quarterback nationally and the number 7 overall prospect in Tennessee by 24/7 Sports. During his time in high school, he accounted for more than 4,500 yards of total offense with 68 total touchdowns. He's appeared briefly for Florida State this season, attempting only 4 passes and 6 rushing attempts. He also came in for a snap this past weekend against Florida. So what does that mean for the ACC title game? Well, let's just assume Rodemaker plays. I still think Louisville has a strong chance of winning this game. I mean, Florida State did win this past weekend, but they really struggled with Florida for majority of that game. Not to mention, I think Louisville is a much tougher opponent. I know the Cardinals lost the last game of the season, but this is still a top 15 team in the country and one of the best teams Florida State will have played all season. Not to mention, you throw in a backup quarterback who might be dealing with a concussion or a potential third-string quarterback, it just seems like it's going to be a really difficult game for Florida State. As of right now, I don't think it matters who the starting quarterback is for Florida State. I think Louisville is going to win this game. Let's go over to the Pac-12 title game, which is tonight, featuring number 3 Washington and number 5 Oregon. This is a rematch from one of the best games of the regular season, in which Washington won a very close one over the Ducks. Although Washington won the first matchup and they're ranked number 3 in the country and undefeated, they're somehow a 9.5 point underdog against Oregon. And I think that's more than fair. Since losing to the Huskies, Oregon has been playing like one of the best teams in all of college football. Every team they play, they dominate on both sides of the ball. Then you look at Washington, and they've really struggled since that Oregon game. Yes, they're still undefeated and they've won every contest, but man, have they had a number of close victories since that matchup. They struggled to beat Arizona State, they struggled to beat Stanford, they were in a back and forth game with USC, they struggled to beat Oregon State, and they struggled to beat Washington State. So I could see why the Ducks are such heavy favorites. Sure, anything can happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if Washington were to win this game, but man, with how the Ducks are looking right now, I think they win this game, and I think they win this game with ease and probably cover the 9.5 point spread. Offensively, Bo Nix has been one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, and this Oregon defense has quietly been one of the best the last couple of months as well. I think it's going to be tough for Washington to score points, and I think Oregon is going to be the Pac-12 champion and reach the college football playoff with a win. The Big 12 championship is an interesting matchup as number 7 Texas takes on number 18 Oklahoma State. Although the Cowboys are ranked inside the top 20, they're a 15-point underdog to Texas. This is a little bit surprising as well because Texas did have a rough stretch the last 2 months. They lost to Oklahoma, had a close game against Houston, a close game against Kansas State, and a close game against TCU, but they did beat Texas Tech by 50 points the last time we saw them. Then you look at Oklahoma State, and although they had a pretty solid season going 9-3, they had a number of really questionable losses, including recently as they fell to UCF by 40 points. They also fell to South Alabama by 24 earlier in the season. I think Oklahoma State could potentially hang in there and make this interesting, but I don't see any scenario scenario in which they're actually pulling off the upset. I think Texas is going to win this game. It's just a matter of how much are they going to win by. Moving on to the SEC title game, and this is going to be a very interesting one. Number 1 Georgia takes on number 8 Alabama. Now, in a lot of videos over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about this matchup a lot. I've said that I think Georgia is in the playoff despite winning or losing this game. Now, Alabama can certainly win as they're only a 5-point underdog, but I just think this Georgia team is too unstoppable at the moment. They went undefeated during the regular season, and they really started to make a turn these last couple of weeks. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say the Bulldogs didn't really play anybody this season, and that's definitely the case. Alabama is probably going to be the best team the Bulldogs have faced all season, and you can never count out Nick Saban in games like this. But overall, I just don't think this is as talented as an Alabama team as we've seen in recent years. I mean, they should have lost this past weekend to a really bad Auburn team. But like I said, you can never count out Nick Saban and Alabama, but I think Georgia should be able to win this game, and I definitely think they're going to be able to win by more than the 5-point spread. Moving on now to the final big matchup, and that's the Big Ten title game featuring number 2 Michigan and number 16 Iowa. It's absolutely crazy that a team ranked 16 that has 10 wins on the year is a 22-point underdog in their conference title game. Not only that, the over-under is 34.5 points, meaning Iowa is barely expected to even score a touchdown. Now, I don't see any way that Iowa is able to win this game. I mean, I don't think they're even going to be able to score 10 points in this game. Michigan could go up 14-0 in this game, and they could opt to just run it out the rest of the way. I wouldn't be shocked if JJ McCarthy finishes the game with fewer than 10 passing attempts. Sure, Iowa's defense could cause a little bit of trouble for Michigan, but this is going to be the best offense the Hawkeyes have faced all season long. I mean, honestly, for Michigan, they could go up 3-0, and that might be all it takes to win this game. So I think Michigan wins this game with ease, and I think they have no problem covering this 22-point spread. As I said in my video from yesterday, my top 4 reaching the playoff is Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and Texas. I know it's pretty chalk, but I think that's how it's going to go this weekend. I'd love to hear your game predictions for the upcoming championship slate. Let me know which teams you think will win this weekend and who your 4 playoff teams are going to be. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.